Well, hello, everybody. Hi, guys. All right, so I got this topic, and it's called Be Extraordinary. And I'm going to be real honest with you. It scared the living daylights out of me. Because when I look in the mirror, you know what I see? I see a mom. I see a wife. I see somebody that's average, that's really normal. And if you were to put me in a lineup against other people and say, pick out the top coach of Team Beachbody, I don't feel like I would jump out at the page. And when people ask me what I did to be successful and what I'm doing, I always just respond, well, I just did what I had to do. I just did what I had to do to be successful. But I really understand that that's not a good enough answer. You want to know, right? You want to know the keys to my success. And so this required a lot of prayer, a lot of self-reflection, a lot of personal development for me to really take a step back and say, okay, what in my life has shaped me to be the person that I am today? And I'm going to share those principles with you in hopes that something will stick out and help you to elevate and raise your business to an extraordinary level. So first and foremost, I want to start with this. I searched and searched for the proper definition of success that really felt good to me, and this is what I found. You know, not everybody wants to stand on stage. Not everybody wants to be a top coach. Not everybody wants to present. But, you know, understand that your definition of success means to pursue a greater quality of life on your own terms, not on terms that I've said or that Beachbody has said, but what makes you feel alive? When your feet hit the ground in the morning, what makes you feel fulfilled? And so I started to think back, you know, to my life and what my parents have instilled in me. And so you can see my mom and dad up here, and they have been the most hardworking, dedicated people, and they've taught me to be the same way. And I'm so blessed to have them in my life, and they're in the audience here somewhere today listening. And my mom was taking classes at community college, and we would drive to school, my brother and I, and we would pass this neighborhood. And there were these beautiful houses. And I used to say to my mom, Mom, I want to be a princess. I want to live in a big house. And she said, Melanie, you can be anything that you want to be. I believe that there is greatness inside of you. She said, but you're going to have to work hard. You're going to have to go to school. You're going to have to get an education, get a degree, get a good job. Nothing will be handed to you. But I believe that you can do anything that you want to do. She believed in me. But they made it very clear that I was going to have to earn whatever I wanted. And then I was in elementary school, and I wanted to play softball. And so I played softball, and the first game I realized very quickly that I would much rather pick daisies in the outfield and fix my ponytail than get dirty and dusty. And so, of course, my parents could have said to me, you know what, Melanie, that's fine. We know you're not getting a scholarship to college to play softball. You can quit. You can quit. But you know what? I remember both my mom and dad saying, Melanie, you're a part of a team. You have a duty to uphold. There is no quitting. Even if this is something you don't see yourself doing, you still have to finish it out. And they taught me to always finish everything that I started. And that stuck with me. I teach that to my boys now. I teach that to my team. It just is ingrained in who I am. And one more story. This is me in high school. I had never taken a dance class. I did not have any tumbling experience, but I always wanted to be a cheerleader. And growing up, we didn't have that extra money to do ballet and dance and tap, and that was fine. But when I got to high school, we were doing a little bit better, and I tried out for this. I didn't really try out. I paid money. I was on a competitive cheerleading squad. They let me be on the team, and this was my junior year. And so basically, I learned the fundamentals of being a cheerleader. And at the end of that season, I went to my mom and dad, and I said, you know what? I think I want to try out for the varsity cheerleading squad. And I'm sure they were thinking, okay, she's cheered for 1 year. She has no skill. These other girls she's going up against have been cheering all their life. They never put any doubt in my mind. They just said, if you want something, you have to work hard for it. And so I showed up the first day of tryouts with my notebook, my cassette tape, and I dubbed the music, and I wrote down every cheer, every chant, and I remember watching what everybody else did. I just took notes at the way they held themselves, their posture. I observed, and I practiced. And then I went home from school, I locked myself in my room, and I stood in front of the mirror, and I practiced. I practiced my facial expressions, I practiced my high V's, my low V's. I did toe touches over and over again until I just fell into bed that night. And I got up the next day, and I did it all over again. And I don't ever remember looking at the other girls and thinking, they deserve it more than me. They've been doing this longer. They've been cheering all their life. They deserve to have a spot on this team. I just knew that I wanted to be a cheerleader, and that's what I was gonna do. And my mom told me I needed to work hard, so that's what I was gonna do. And so by the third day of tryouts, I was so sore, I could hardly walk, and my voice was starting to crack. And the rest of the girls had done the routine a few times, and they were done. They went out with their friends that night. And I went back home, and I practiced over and over and over again. And in this image, you can see Diana Nyad, and she spoke 2 years ago at Summit. And she talked about, she was a swimmer. She swam from Cuba to Florida. And she talks about how she couldn't have done it a fingernail more. And when she said that, that took me back. That is exactly what I did in that moment in high school, that defining moment where I said to myself, I can't do it a fingernail more. I am ready. And so I showed up on Saturday for tryouts. I went in there, I was confident, I was ready to go. All the other girls, right, they were out the night before. They thought they had a shoe in. And I gave it all I had, and I sat in the audience. I waited for them to call out the list of who made it. And what they do is you have a number, and your numbers get posted. And I ran up to find my number, and I scanned the list. And I'm looking for the line, because everybody below the line is cut. And I was the last person on the list. And I had made it. I had outworked the competition. I had no skill other than what I had taught myself in 12 months in those last 3 days of tryouts. And those other girls, some of those other girls probably stood there and thought, I deserve this. I've been a cheerleader. I've been on the varsity for 3 years. This is a shoe-in, and I bet you they didn't try as hard as they could. And I outworked them because I wanted it more than they did. Thanks. And that's a lot of our business too, right? I mean, you think about this, you walk into Beachbody. I mean, I'm sure that 90% of you had no network marketing background. You didn't know how to use social media. You know how to build a business on social media, but you taught yourself. We teach ourselves the things we want because we want it so bad. And so consistency. That leads me to my next point. And if you are a part of my team, they always say to me, you know, Melanie, the number one thing about you is you're the consistency queen. And that is me. That is me. I chose this image of this ballerina because when you think of a ballerina, what do you see? You see graceful, you see confident, you see sleek, and you think, man, she just owns that stage. She's meant to be up there. But when you take away that one ballet slipper or those shoes, what do you sometimes see? Maybe a bloody toe, or maybe it's broken, you know, a couple blisters, and you think, man, she worked hard. I bet you she made a lot of sacrifices to be on that stage. And that's a lot like coaching. You know, you see the highlight reel of social media. You see how glamorous it must look and how effortless it looks like the climb to reach success might be. But when you peel back the layers of this business, you realize that there was a lot of hard work, a lot of consistency, a lot of objections, a lot of failures to get where I am today. And I've done a lot of unsexy things to build this business. But it's because I was willing to do the things that other people were not willing to do that got me to where I am. And for me, it doesn't look the same for everybody. For me, it was 5 a.m. when that alarm would go off and my feet would hit the ground. I was up, I was awake, and I had work to do. And I would work as fast as I could before my boys got up because I was a stay-at-home mom. Matt worked long hours. I was everything. I was caretaker. You know, I did the laundry, I did the dishes. I had to be on. And so those were the only times of the day that I could work. So 5 a.m. and then in the afternoon, I made sure to be home so the boys could take a nap so that I could work my business. Most people would say, I'm really tired. It's been a long night. The boys didn't sleep. I think I'll just take a nap or I'll watch some soaps. Not me. I had a vision for where I was going. Then 9 o'clock at night, I had a choice. I could put the boys to bed, pour myself a glass of wine, watch some TV, again, back to the computer, stayed focused. Not just when it was convenient, but every single day. 365 days out of the year for the last 5 years of my life, I have been consistent with posting, with social media, with showing up, with personal development, with practicing what I preach. I outwork the competition. And here's the kicker, I figured this out. I also did it on Saturday and Sunday. I mean, how many people do their nutrition and their fitness Monday through Friday, and they deserve the weekends off, right? Same thing with your business. You can't out-exercise a bad diet. You can't eat whatever you want on the weekends and still expect to get results come Monday morning. And so Saturdays and Sundays, 5 a.m., the rest of the world is quiet. And trust me, it's quiet. Because I was probably the only one of the few that was on social media, but I was scheduling posts. I was making my schedule for the week. I was doing my meal plan. I was getting my mind in the right place. I was following up. I was writing my blog posts. And those extra 2 to 3 hours on Saturdays and Sundays that I put in that I didn't have to amounted to, just in 1 year, 1,344 extra hours I invested into my business than the competition. I was willing to do the hard work. But I didn't just do it without a purpose. I had a purpose, and this is my dream board. This is a piece of poster board that Matt and I refused to move, actually almost got thrown away in our last move. And Matt was like, I saved it, Melanie. And we made this in my kitchen with my coach and her coach. We sat with poster board and markers and magazines, and we talked about if we could accomplish anything in life, what would we want to do? And I put on there that I wanted to pay off my student loans, because at the rate Matt and I were going, I'd make my last student loan payment when we sent Landon off to college. And I wanted to take my family on the Success Club trip to Disney that year. That was the trip. And I knew that we couldn't afford to take a trip like that, but if I could earn it, maybe it would prove to Matt that this business was legit, because he wasn't a big believer. And also I knew it would feel really good to do something like that. And then also I put on there, I wanted to help 50 people transform their lives. I wanted to be a 2-star diamond. I wanted to go to leadership. I wanted to be an elite coach. I was 6 months into my business. I was an emerald coach when I made this. And I can remember hanging it on my wall in the basement and every day looking at that vision board of what I wanted to accomplish. And everything did not always go as planned. There was one particular moment and a goal that I missed. I wanted to go to leadership. You had to be a 2-star diamond. And I missed the qualification by 2 weeks. And I can remember thinking to myself, I worked so hard. I deserve this. I have given every ounce of effort. My team, we worked hard. We couldn't have done it any better. And I thought to myself, you know what, Melanie, it's not your time. This is exactly where you're supposed to be. And how many times do we miss a goal and we let it defeat us? We let it set us back 3, 6 months. We let our foot off the gas. And we can't do that. I just put my head down and I said, you know what, Melanie? Don't change the goal. Stay focused, stay sharply pointed in the direction that you want to go. Everything will work out. And you know what it did? Within 3 to 6 months, I accomplished every single thing on that goal board because I didn't give up. And belief. I believe without a shadow of a doubt that Beachbody is exactly where I'm meant to be. I believe that from the minute I hit submit on that application to sign up as a coach, as scared as I was, as afraid as I was to take that first step into a business I knew nothing about, I believed in my gut that this is what I was called to do. I had a transformation. I was practicing what I was preaching. I knew it worked for me. I knew it was gonna work for others. And you know what? I was not the kind of person that said, I'm gonna give it 3 months or 6 months or a year from now, and if I'm not making X amount of money or I'm not this rank, then I quit. I'm here. I am here for the long haul. It's not 1 foot in and 1 foot out. There's no plan B. And when you have that kind of mentality, you're in it. You are in it, and you will do what it takes to be successful. And confidence. I know we talk about confidence a lot, right? And confidence is hard. Confidence takes constant work, constant personal development. I'm shy. I'm introverted. Sometimes I prefer just to be by myself. I'm not always confident. Sometimes I have to give myself a little pep talk before I go out, but I'm human, right? That's what we do. But you know what? I'm just like you, and I want you to remember that. Why not you? Maybe you didn't have a perfect childhood. Maybe everything in life didn't go as planned for you. But don't let that be a crutch. Don't let that be a reason for you not to try hard, not to keep going. I had the opportunity now to get to go on 3 Elite 10 trips and talk to, and one of the traditions is to hear each person's story of how they got to where they are today. And each coach has stuff. And some of it is messy stuff. And a lot of that stuff could have been a reason, and a very valid reason, for them not to be successful. But they said, you know what? I'm gonna take that stuff, that mess, and I'm gonna turn it into my message, and I'm gonna use it to inspire other people. I'm gonna take what has been hard for me and use it to grow somebody else. So be confident in your gifts that you have to offer, because you know what? Why not you? There is no reason why you can't crush it. It just takes constant work and personal development. But if you put that as a key piece of your business, you will take it to the next level. So, as I wrap things up, I just want to leave you with a few pieces of advice. Things that I feel can help you start to change maybe your thinking just a little bit, to elevate you and put you sharply pointed in a different direction. And the first one is take control. If you don't like a situation, change it. You have the ability to say that this is not how the story is going to end, and it's not too late in the game to make a change. If you want something different, you have to be willing to work for it. Is it gonna be hard work? Absolutely, but is it gonna be worth it? I believe it is. I believe it is. You guys, you're all responsible for your own success. Not Beachbody, not your upline, not your place in the organization, but you and your daily actions. And you know what? Don't settle. Don't settle for average. Average is easy. Average is normal, but that's not you. That's not you. Always raise the bar. Always strive to be the best at hand. Always ask yourself, can I be living 2 to 3 steps outside of my comfort zone? And the minute you start to feel yourself kind of going back into that comfort zone, I want you to challenge yourself. Can I give better customer service to the people in my challenge groups? Can I improve myself as a leader? Can I sharpen my skills? And when you always elevate yourself and be teachable and coachable, you will see your business continue to grow. And hard work. Hard work attracts hard workers. I bet you every one of you in this audience has asked at one point or another, how do I find working coaches? How do I find the next Melanie Mitro, right? And I'll tell you where those people are found. They're found by you getting down in the trenches and you doing the hard work. You leading by example. You saying, all right, if I want people to work out and be consistent, I gotta be consistent. If I want people to do personal development, I gotta do personal development. And when you get down in there and you do the hard work, people can't help but be attracted to that. They wanna be a part of that. And I can remember thinking to myself, long before I had the title of leader or felt like I was qualified to be in a leadership position, I remember thinking to myself, I'm going and you can either get on this train or not, because I'm leaving without you. And that's the attitude we have to have. All right, my last point is this: always confront the brutal facts of reality. Got to be willing to change. And you've heard a lot of this over the past day and a half now, right? I mean, we have a choice. I mean, we can put our head in the sand and we can say, I don't want to pay attention to the fact that Facebook is changing, or that Snapchat is now here, or that, we used to do shake and shares and fit clubs and face-to-face, and now a lot of our business has become social media, and we can ignore that. We can ignore that and say, you know what, it's going to be fine. This is a fad. This is going to pass. Or we can say to ourselves, all right, team, we need to change. We need to come up with a solution. We need to be solution-oriented. And I'll tell you what, I don't want to be on the defense. I want to be on the offense. And I am willing to change, because I know change is hard, but I know it's what makes us grow. So here's the bottom line, guys. We have a choice. We can let the moments go by. We can leave here. We can fold up our notebooks. We can go home. We can go back to our normal, average life. Or we can say, I'm not gonna let another moment go by where I'm just living. I'm gonna be alive. I'm gonna inspire other people. And I forget who said it. Was it Gary Vaynerchuk? Somebody said it yesterday about regret. The worst thing in life is having regret. And I don't want any of you to walk away and say, I regret not living my life to the fullest, not finding that thing that makes me feel like I'm pursuing a greater quality of life. And here's the thing. I know some of you have never had somebody tell you that there's greatness inside of you, so I'm gonna tell you. I believe that in each and every one of you, there is greatness. And you have the ability to do extraordinary things. So do not let another moment go by where you're not living your life to the fullest. Thanks, everybody.
Fantastic.